What's up, man? Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it, dude. What's up, guys? How you doing? Woo! Let's bring this back. You know, one of the biggest things that I find in the real estate industry is that we're talking to each other's minds all the time. We tend to talk to each other's minds and our clients' minds all the time, but we fail to talk to one another's hearts. So I'm the guy after the break that comes back and Kyle goes, hey man, can you bring the energy as we get back in there? So I didn't get into this business on purpose. I actually ended up here by mistake. I decided I wanted to be a youth pastor. Anyone else go to church here? Anyone else go to church? Somebody give me an amen. Amen. So if I say something today that resonates with your heart, say amen. Let's try that one more time. Amen. Awesome. You guys are good. Okay, so here's the thing. You guys who have been in the real estate industry for a long time know this. Logic makes people think, but emotion makes people... Why is that? Why is that? Because today you have already heard so many strategies. I'm sitting there as Mary Maloney's going through her presentation on mailings, and I'm like, dude, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. I'm stoked. I listen to Elias and how he's like shouting out everyone who's in his community, and I'm like, man, I need to do better at giving credibility and props and congratulations and accolades to those around me who helped build what I'm building here. I heard Stephen, and I'm like, I'm in the back, and I'm going, man, how come I don't have that? I don't have that agent-to-agent accountability. And the reality is, my phone is already full, chock full of notes. Raise your hand if your notes are already chock full. Amen. Thanks, bud. So here's how this goes. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, and then that story is going to inspire you today. I'm going to unravel for you 3 specific lies, 3 fears that go on in your heart, because there are 2 primary emotions in this world. Do you know what they are? Fear and love. Fear and love. I can inspire you with the idea to make more money every single day, but all I'm talking to on this Maslow hierarchy of needs is what? The idea of self-actualization, the fear that you could have less, the fear that you're going to lose it, the fear of what others are going to think of it. That's the only thing I can get you to do that. How many of you team leaders have given to your team agents and you said, you could be this today, you could do that, and you watch them a year later and they're still the same? Amen, right? The reason, guys, is we need to learn how to work with our hearts. Let me say that once more to you. We need to learn how to work with our hearts, not just our minds. Our minds will tell us, and I could interview just like Dan said, we could swap out all the speakers because of this great group, and we could put different lineup here, and our minds and our notebooks would be full with another different set of ideas. But unless we get our hearts into the right place, unless we get our hearts in alignment with our goals, we're going nowhere. Nowhere. So let me repeat those 3 fears. It is the fear of missing out. How many of you guys struggle with FOMO? Damn, I'll tell you the FOMO that gets me. Damn, I want a mailing thing like Mary Maloney, and then I hear another guy, man, I want an agent attraction like John Pugh and Meyer and all these guys. Man, it's a fear of missing out. And then I have a fear of rejection, a fear of what happens if I reach out and I do that thing that Stephen Hurd does, if I try to take action like that, but then they don't like me. It doesn't respond. Who's been there, right? It stinks, hurts. And then the last one, this horrible, horrible fear. It's the fear of wondering, am I enough? Am I enough? You see, if we learn to master our hearts, then we can actually learn to master our business, because when you have a conversation with a client, if you're just dealing on head-to-head level, they're going to do the analysis on a spreadsheet and just go to someone else. But the reality is, have you ever gone out on a listing presentation and you have the best listing presentation? You got the best mailers. Your social media is on point. You think, man, I've got this. And you lose the listing to one of the people that Dan talked about, some one-off who's doing 1 to 2 deals a year. Do you ever know why? This. They connected there, and you didn't. So would it be okay if I shared with you a little bit of my story today? Guys, I did not get started in on this real estate thing on purpose. I actually I got started in youth ministries. I was at college, and man, my whole objective was to work on the heart for people. It was to guide them in their lives, whatever higher power you believe in. I believed in that's what changed our world. Not just what I got put in my mind, but what I put in my heart. And I got a call from my mom while I was at college. And she said, hey, you know the guy who I recently married, we found out he's on heroin. We found out he's beating me. And I need you to come home. I need you to come home and start working so that you can help pay the rent. My mom raised my sister and I on $14,000 a year. Raise your hand if you make more than 14 grand a year. I'm shocked. Most realtors make nothing. I'm kidding. Sorry, that was a Dan joke. Yeah, so I went home and I started waiting tables. And Colton, you missed that. That's one of the careers that always leads to being into a realtor. And man, I was a waiter for a bunch of years. I had the cool privilege of working at some James Beard Wine Spectator magazine restaurants, and I really learned how to take the whole heart thing and apply it and work into people's lives and just connect with them. Right? You can have the best service in the world and the best food, but you know that goes that extra mile when the waiter or the bartender connects with you, right? We're in the same business, guys. We're in the same business. Why is it that we're so pumped up to go work out at the gym? We're so pumped up to go stuff our minds with a billion things for, 6 hours today. We get this awesome privilege, but we never work on our heart that actually helps us execute this. That's the reason. If you learn to master your heart, you can do anything. And it's what's allowed me to build a team inside of a broom closet with just myself and an assistant to a $200 million, by the way, Dan, it's 650 deals we did last year. 650 deals. Come on, amen. Amen. It allowed us to do that in despite of a market change, and even this year, despite that, oh, by the way, we lost a couple people. Did anyone lose a couple people this year? Anyone lose a couple people? I think we were all predicting that. We lost a couple people, we recruited them all back. All the production. It's because we learned how to master this, the heart. Cool. So let me get back to the story. I come home, we work at the restaurant industry. That takes me to South Africa for a family vacation. In South Africa, I remember sitting there and I was like carving this, piece of wood, and I was just sitting having a conversation with God. And he said, hey, I want you to go into the construction business. I want you to rekindle your relationship with your father, and I want you to get back to church. And I was like, all right, cool. It's funny how he leads us on these little crumbs along the way to our eventual destiny. Don't despise days of small things. And some of you here are guests today. And I want to say this very importantly. Listen to me. It is not a mistake that you are in this room. It is not a mistake. If you are here, this is just another stepping stone on your journey. Just listen to your heart, because your heart's going to tell you what you need to do next. In this process, I remember being there. I remember going out one day, and God said, today's the day. You're going to go work in construction. I got in my car, and I remember driving around. He said, go here to the right. I was like, okay, and then I went here to the left. He said, stop here. And I remember pulling off to the side of the road, and someone was walking down the hill. He said, get out of your car and go talk to him. Now, most of you guys right now have completely dismissed me because you either feel like I have schizophrenia or I'm a complete, cult leader. But it's true. Everyone hears God in a different way. And so the guy comes down the hill, and I said, hey, I'm here for a job in construction. And the guy said, well, I don't know who you've been talking to, man, but I just fired the guy at the top of the hill, and I need someone to replace him to work construction. I said, great. And I knew who I was. He said, what do you want per hour? So I told him, he said, yeah, well, we don't pay that per hour. I said, great. I'm getting that paid per hour. I'm getting back in my car, asking God, and he's going to help me find another construction site. Some of you guys need to understand that when you understand your worth, then you don't have to negotiate on your value, right? Right? Thank you. So in this process, I eventually ended up into the real estate appraising industry and then into real estate sales. And we decided to build this business. And when I finally met Dan and Kyle, I had asked them about one thing. I said, hey, listen, we built this crazy business up to $72 million, but I want to learn more. And I want to give to my agents a way better time here. What can we do? Can I ask you two things, Dan and Kyle? I never want to hear about revenue share, and I never want to hear about stocks. Can we make that agreement on this call today? They said, absolutely, because I'm a sales agent, and I want to sell. Raise your hand if you're a sales agent. How many of you paying your bills because you sell houses? Not because you did some cool social media post, not because you got the best next plan, not because you did some cool mailer. That's all part of it. You need to learn to sell, and the way that you sell is you talk to the heart. So let's talk about this. How do we master and overcome the fear of missing out? Distraction tells us that we need more than what's in front of us. So let me ask you guys, you right here, sir, with the cap on backward. What'd you come here for today? Information and knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Let's get specific for a second. What do you need to do in order to take your business to the next level? Hire people, okay? What's your name? David? Good name. If I'm David, I write down hire people. And I do not leave this room until I find the person who knows how to hire people. In the presence of limitation, we actually have the greatest opportunity. But it's a complete lie. We think that I need to find out a zillion different ideas, and I'm going to do all of these ideas halfway, and I'm going to get nowhere with that, and it's going to leave my business in where? The same exact spot. So let me ask you, David, are you going to hear different things today other than hiring people? You will. Absolutely. Now, can you write all of those down in your notes of cool ideas? But do you need to chase them? No. The reality is no. Who here in the room has hired someone? Yeah, go make friends with this guy. That's the power of this group. That's the power of not having to R&D. And we'll make David's time so valuable because he got what he came for. Does that make sense? Sir, what'd you come here for today? You in the black shirt.
Well, I'm new to this whole EXP thing, so I want to learn what it's about. I want to get to know a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Learn from people that are doing the same thing that I'm doing, but at a little bit higher level.
Yeah, so who wants to learn how to do the same thing just as a different higher level. And so are you going to be presented with a zillion distractions? Always, right? In the presence of limitation, we actually have the greatest opportunity. So here's my action step for you in order to overcome this. Narrow down your thing to whatever you came here for. Take 5 seconds and write that down. What did you come here for today? You have one of the greatest opportunities by being in this room with masterminds. Not the group and everyone talking, all of this. You have that opportunity. Do not leave this room until you find someone who can help you with that. Number 2, the fear of rejection. This is one of the hardest things to handle. I recently had a team meeting. This is dangerously powerful if you're a team leader. All of you wrote down one thing that you came here for. On the other side, juxtaposed right next to it, write the fear that keeps you from it. That keeps you from it. We did this we had it on a piece of paper. We tore it in half. We took the fears and we put them into a box. And my conversations thereafter with the team agents was this. I found a continual thread through the whole thing. A fear of rejection. I'm worried that if I go and do this, people will not like me. They won't like me. Let me handle this for you. Are you okay if I handle this so you never have to deal with this again? They are not rejecting you. They are rejecting what you are offering. That is it. Once you understand that and you get into the presence of abundance rather than scarcity, it doesn't matter. If you have 100 clients under contract and one leaves, are you worried? If you have 100 team agents, team leaders, and one leaves, are you worried? You're just simply offering something that they don't want right now. And that's okay. There's more. In the presence of abundance, we destroy the idea of rejection. Hi, 5 minutes. I got you. We destroy the idea of rejection. And let's talk about our last one. This is the fear that I'm not enough. The fear that I'm not enough. It's actually rooted and it shows up in perfectionism. Any agents out there, perfectionists? We actually pride ourselves. We're like, well, I'm a perfectionist, right? And you're getting nothing done. You're getting nothing done. You see, I'm the guy who's like, I'll craft up a presentation like on the way. I'll put a social media post together like on the way, right? But every single time I'm going to execute because I am not fearful of perfectionism. Do you know how you destroy the lie of perfectionism? Presence over perfection. How many parents in the room today? Are you the perfect parent? Are you No. So why do you do it? Well, because you have to, right? I got a 3.5-year-old, I can't just not, right? But what does she want? What does my little girl Shiloh want? Aw, amen. If that's the case, all I need to do is be present and show up. So you team leaders who are worried out there, oh man, this is not perfect for my team, that's not perfect for my team, whatever that is, show up. Show up and be present. Your listening presentation doesn't look like one of these guys, doesn't matter. Show up, move the needle 1% forward if that's the one thing that you need to do. That's it. That's it. And some of you, I can see you shaking heads all across the room. Good, it means that I'm landing here with you guys today. Awesome. Awesome. Dismissing perfectionism is one of the greatest things that you can do for yourself as an individual. And if we can remove these 3 lies from our hearts, then we win big here. We win. And here's how we win as a fast-forward movement. Who knows what casts out fear? If you've been to church, you know this. What casts out fear? Love. Love casts out fear. Now, I don't know all you guys. You guys can show me some love, and I'll show you some love. Pop onto my Instagram page. It's David N. Brooke. Look me up. I'm somewhere up there. Find that stuff. I work continually with agents on overcoming their mindsets and rejections through this process called a boot camp. You want to check it out? Go check it out. Okay? I help people get to their next levels of execution. But as a community, one of the highest ways that we can love each other is through accountability. Accountability. It never fails. The opportunity that we have as real estate agents to collaborate in such a fashion is unparalleled. There is nowhere else I have seen. I've been to 3 or 4 major companies that I work for and never seen this collaboration. So my encouragement to you is this. If you ever feel the need, hey, you know what? I don't need to show up to the Monday call. Don't. You better be there. Because once we get out of that place of accountability, that's all of a sudden where we find ourselves in all of these lies, in all of the fears that overcome us. I need this next thing. That's what's going to help my business. I need to do this. I can't do that. I'm going to get rejected. Why? Because by showing up to these events, you realize, you know what? Others have been rejected. Nobody's perfect on here, and we're all accepted. Can I just thank you guys so much for my time? My name is David Brooke. I appreciate you so much.